This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa described the scene as deeply unsettling. Armed police in full battle gear jogging in front of the central headquarters of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, disrupting the church's missionary as they prayed. The senator also criticized the national police's mishandling of the search and arrest of Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy. Meanwhile, a new bill is being proposed in the Philippine Congress to mandate drug testing for all government officials, including the president. In other news, speculation about a possible impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte has resurfaced following her recent criticism of the administration. A political analyst warned that pursuing an impeachment against the Vice President could backfire and further weaken the Marcos Jr. administration. For our top global stories, the United States is enhancing its military presence in the Middle East as tensions between Iran and Israel escalate. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has ordered a guided missile submarine and an aircraft carrier strike group to the region in response to rising threats from Iran and Hezbollah. And former President and Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump has returned to the social media platform X, aiming to rebound from a turbulent period on the campaign trail. His comeback was marred by a major cyber attack that delayed his interview with Elon Musk by an hour. I'm Deivid Lira. Newsline World starts now. First in the news, the Senate hearing on the excessive force used by the National Police during the service of an arrest warrant for Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy and 5 others on June 10 seems to have had little effect. This is because the police are reportedly planning another operation on the KOJC religious compound. The church's legal counsel have issued a warning in this regard. Ina Mortel reports.
Nearly 2 months after the PNP SAF and CIDG battalion stormed the Kingdom of Jesus Christ religious compounds on June 10, 2024, there are reports of plans to attack their homes again in the coming days. This information was relayed to KOJC by their legal counsel, Attorney Israelito Torjon, who has issued a warning to the Davao City Police if this second wave materializes, especially since the initial operation was illegal.
This serves as a warning po sa mga kaibigan po natin ng mga Davao City Police, no, na gagamitin sa second wave daw. Nakareceive ako ng text messages kanina po na nag-create daw ng team na lulusob na naman daw sila dito sa compound ng KOJC. Pakisabi lang po sa inyong general na kung wala kayong alias warrant of arrest, no? Ilang beses na po kayo nag-serve po dito sa KOJC. Definitely the KOJC authorities may not allow you anymore to enter the properties voluntarily, no? And you might be included in the cases that will be filed. Pasensyahan na po, wala pong personalan ito. Please require your general. Ask your general, sir, meron ba tayong alias warrant of arrest po dito? Kasi kailangan tayo na mag-file ng motion pursuant to the rules eh.
It is worth noting that during a recent Senate hearing led by Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, regarding the excessive force used by the PNP against KOJC, Davao Region Police Chief Nicolas Torre III stated that the arrest warrant was still valid, even though they failed to capture their target, Pastor Apollo. During the Senate hearing, Torre requested that 1,500 personnel be deployed to reside within the KOJC religious compound, particularly in the kingdom, for a month to conduct a thorough search in hopes of capturing Pastor Apollo. Meanwhile, according to Attorney Adam Jambangan, another KOJC legal counsel, the police not only lacked a search warrant when they entered the religious compounds on June 10, but the arrest warrant they carried was also questionable.
Kapag na-serve na yung warrant of arrest, and then hindi na-aresto yung dapat na i-arrest, the peace officer is bound to to make a report and then inform the court bakit hindi na aresto yung dapat na arestuhin. In this case, there was already a return by the police officer kasi hindi nga nila na aresto last June 10. And then there was already a report. Therefore, if you do another series or another wave of doing the arrest, the rules would require you to have that. You should be armed with that. And that is only issued by the court. Ang question ngayon is, meron bang in-order na or meron na bang inisyo ang court for the issuance of the alias warrant? I believe wala. So that is the reason why, aside from the issue of excessiveness, the main instrument mismo doon na ginamit nila is also questionable.
Meanwhile, on August 5, according to Sister Eleanor Cardona, Executive Secretary of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, the PNP staff brutally attacked the KOJC farm in Tamayong, Davao City at 2 in the morning.
Mga inosente na mga farmers na tinutulungan din ni Pastor, binigyan sila ng doon, chance na mamuhay, sinusuportahan. Anong ginawa nyo? Blatantly, kung masahol kayo nung June 10, mas masahol kayo nung August 5. Diba? Tinutukan nyo na ng baril, pinadapa nyo, hinubaran nyo, minudbud nyo pa yung mga mukha nila, ginapos nyo yung lawyer namin, hinarangan ninyo. Papunta na ang yung lawyer, hinarangan ninyo. Yung media, hinarangan ninyo. Ayaw nyo may mag-cover. Bakit? Kasi inaatake nyo na pala yung isang compound namin.
According to Attorney Diana Tolentino Fuentes, the illegal actions of the police have increased.
Yung pagsulong ho, paglusob po sa ungguyan, there was no search warrant at all that the armed forces showed. I do not know if these armed forces are actually police or not, whether or they were just made to dress up in police uniforms. Pero wala ho silang pinakita na search warrant that would allow them to enter the property and search the premises. They did not also, there was also no indication at all that would allow them to tie up the people na tutukan ng baril in the presence of young children. So since walang search warrant at all, they had no basis to do what they did. That is, aside from being an overreach, an overkill, and at the same time, very much illegal.
It is worth noting that KOJC has already filed numerous cases against the authorities behind the violent and illegal operations of their religious compounds. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this has been Ina Mortel, SMNA News.
It is evident that the police in full battle gear jogging in front of the central headquarters of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ are intimidating, while the church's missionaries are praying, according to Senator Ronaldo Bato de la Rosa. In this regard, the senator also criticized the National Police's flawed approach in the search for and arresting Pastor Apollo Sikibaloy. Let's hear more from Jason Rubrico.
Since April 13, 2005.
The serious prayers of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ missionaries were once again disturbed by police. But this time, they used a different style. Where have you ever seen hundreds of police in full battle gear while jogging? Only here in front of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ at 5 in the morning on this Tuesday. As usual, only their eyes are visible. Even their nameplates are covered.
He is no longer in power. On November 1,
But when the sirens sounded inside the KOJC religious compound, the police suddenly made a U-turn back to Camp Katitipan.
He is now enthroned as king of the new creation.
In an interview with SMNI News, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa stated that while police jogging cannot be stopped because it's on public roads, their intentions are clear.
Talaga masyado talaga kung ano yung purpose niyan. Kung intimidate ko sinong dapat na-intimidate. Sige lang, take and take lang tayo. Nothing is forever.
Previously, they did the same in Barangay Tamayong, where the Prayer Mountain is located, one of KOJC's religious compounds, attacked on June 10, 2024. They performed foot patrols in the area without any explanation of their purpose. This caused fear among Tamayong residents, especially the children. Senator Bato also criticized the police for their excessive force, almost opposing the people of Davao just because they want to arrest Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy.
Interquest na maaresto si Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. Halos lahat na ng tao ng Davao kinakalaban na nila, hinaharas na nila at kanila nang ina-antagonize. Mali po na approach yan. Maling-mali na approach yan.
Senator De La Rosa adds that the national police are wasting resources. He claims their actions in Davao are injustice.
Hinahanap mo isang tao, 4 na tao na may warrant of arrest. Granting na yun nga, duty niyo yan, nahanapin yan. But in doing so, you need not antagonize the whole community of Davao City na parang hinaharas na niyo palagi, nagsushow force na lang kayo palagi. That's a waste of resources. You intimidate your own people kasi hindi niyo makita yung hinahanap ninyo na may warrant of arrest. I-intimidate na niyo ang kalahatan ng mga tao. That's unfair. That's injustice. That's unjust sa mga tao ng Davao.
Recently, KOJC Legal Counsel received information from a reliable source about another police attack on the religious compounds. Attorney Israelito Torion issued a warning.
This serves as a warning po sa mga kaibigan po natin ng mga Davao City Police, no, na gagamitin sa second wave daw. Nakareceive ako ng text messages kanina po na nag-create daw ng team na lulusob na naman daw sila dito sa compound ng KOJC. Pakisabi lang po sa inyong general na kung wala kayong alias warrant of arrest, no, ilang beses na po kayo nag-serve po dito sa KOJC. Definitely, the KOJC authorities may not allow you anymore to enter the properties voluntarily, no? And you might be included in the cases that will be filed. Pasensyahan na po, wala pong personalan ito. Please require your general. Ask your general, sir, meron ba tayong alias warrant of arrest po dito? Kasi kailangan tayo na mag-file ng motion pursuant to the rules, eh.
Early in the morning of June 10, 2024, a combined force of PNP staff, CIDG attacked 4 KOJC religious compounds, causing fear and trauma to KOJC missionaries and children. These also resulted in the death of 2 members of the Blaan tribe in Kitbog. On August 5, 2024, police also attacked the KOJC farm in Barangay Tamayong, destroying KOJC missionaries' houses, forcing them to the ground, and aiming high-caliber guns at them. For God and my beloved Philippines, I am Jason Rubrico, SM9 News.
The Legal Counsel of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ explained how to know that a warrant presented by the authorities in operation is fake or not. The KOJC, together with the several groups and individuals, condemned the illegal police operation in the KOJC religious compounds in Davao City. Cristaline Catarong reports.
The Legal Counsel of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ confirmed that he has received text messages that a police team has been formed and is set to storm the religious compounds of the KOJC at any time. In this regard, KOJC Legal Counsel Attorney Israelito Torion has a stern warning on the Davao City Police who are among to be used in the alleged second wave invasion. The lawyer specifically referred to the issue of their lack of an alias warrant of arrest.
Kasi may return na pala yung warrant of arrest dito nung June 7. May order na palang pinalabas ito nung June 7. So yung June 10 nga, questionable nga yung pag-serve ng warrant.
Apart from the overkill attack by the armed authorities on June 10, KOJC Legal Counsel Attorney Dina Tolentino pointed out that the attack conducted recently by the police authorities at the KOJC farm in Tamayong, Davao City was also illegal, noting that it was done without a search warrant.
Wala ho silang pinakita na search warrant that would allow them to enter the property and search the premises. They did not also, there was also no indication at all that would allow them to tie up the people na tutukan ng baril in the presence of young children.
Meanwhile, Attorney Tolentino provided pointers on determining whether a warrant displayed or presented by the operation authorities is fake or not. She said, the first thing to do is check the document if there is a seal or dry seal, and if the presentation is only a photocopy, ask for its original copy.
You ask for the original because they're supposed to bring the original of the warrant of arrest and it has to have a dry seal. So i-rub ninyo yan kung may dry seal.
In addition, the signatures of the people who signed the warrant of arrest should also be scrutinized. It must be issued by the judge and also check which court it is from. Tolentino also stressed the importance of determining whether the document shown matches the details in the court. It also necessary to check the details of why the warrant was issued and whether there really is a case like this.
Madali na ho i-google ngayon ang mga numbers ng courts. You can call the courts and check, meron ba talaga kayong na-issue na warrant of arrest? In this case, i-check ninyo yung case number, i-check ninyo yung caption, People of the Philippines versus ganitong tao. And then i-check ninyo for what crime. Kasi kung hindi ho tutugma yan lahat, then there is a possibility that the warrant might have been manufactured or is fake.
But if you are still not sure, Tolentino advised to consult the lawyer immediately.
If hindi pa rin kayo sure, then this is where lawyers come in. You can call your lawyer. Call a friend na ho kayo niyan. Consult a lawyer immediately. But however, do not ignore a warrant of arrest if it is there. Okay? So you must be able to respond appropriately to a warrant of arrest, but to check it first kung totoo o hindi.
For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Kerseling Katarong, SMNI News.
The National Bureau of Investigation Region 11 served an arrest warrant of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ religious compound in Davao City. The operation was peacefully and orderly. Details from Jean Domingo.
Members and missionaries of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ in Davao City felt at ease because there was no need for weapons and a large number of police to conduct a search inside the KOJC religious compound. Evident to this was a recent operation conducted by representatives of the National Bureau of Investigation from Region 11 on August 9. At 5 in the afternoon, representatives of the National Bureau of Investigation from Region 11 arrived, led by NBI Regional Director, Attorney Arcelito Albao, Senior Agent Vic Cano, Agent Manny Dulay, and Head Agent Vicente Minguez, where KOJC Legal Counsel, Attorney Israelito Torreon, and Attorney Dinah Fuentes Tolentino immediately addressed them, while Kingdom of Jesus Christ Executive Secretary Eleanor Cardona assisted them. During the operation, KOJC officials allowed the NBI group to visit the areas they wished to search, including the Kingdom, which the Philippine National Police, led by Nick Torre, suspected to be a hiding place for people they were looking for. According to Regional Director Albao, they conducted the operation to verify information. He stated that the operation was not difficult as they were admitted cautiously, lasting only a little over an hour, and was peaceful and orderly.
To be honest, wala kaming sa amin na agency, wala kaming nakuhang info. So para maklaro lang talaga yan, pinasok na namin para maklaro kung andyan ba talaga o wala. Ang Kingdom lang ang pinasok namin, pati yung may mga banks doon, no? May mga residents na marami din, mga quarters, pinasok namin. So far, wala kaming nakita.
Naging mahirap bang pag-search natin, sir, ngayon?
Hindi naman, kasi the KOJC personnel, as well as dito yung mga lawyers nila, pinapasok naman tayo. Wala pa, before na search na rin namin, so far wala din kaming nakita, but I do not know this time. So this afternoon, ito lang yung focus namin dito sa KOJC. Actually, mayroon ng motion for alias warrant, hindi lang namin alam kung anong resulta. Lastly, I would like to emphasize that we served the warrant of arrest in a very peaceful and orderly manner.
According to the KOJC Legal Counsel, the operation of the National Bureau of Investigation is proof that there is no need for force and violence in serving an arrest warrant. It can be recalled that the CIDG PNP staff illegally searched the area last June 10, 2024 with full battle gears, causing fear and trauma to members and missionaries.
Well, this proves that the KOJC is very cooperative. The search was done in a very peaceful, orderly manner. And we hope and pray that the PNP would take notice of the search being conducted this afternoon, that it was conducted properly by elements of and agents of the National Bureau of Investigation.
Means to say, sir, hindi kailangan marahas to do the...
Hindi kailangan na magdala ka ng maraming armas dito kung makipag-cooperate po sila sa amin. No? Wala namang problema yon if they will properly cooperate with us. No need to show force, no need to bring armalites, no need to bring a lot of helicopters, no need to use drones and other armaments po. The KOJC is always cooperative if done pursuant to the rules of court and if done properly.
However, Attorney Torreon reminded that there is no need to serve additional arrest warrants because if the police do so, it would be considered a disservice to the warrant.
I think there is no need anymore. That would be the 7th or 8th times that they would be doing that, and that would be a disservice already to the warrant. It's no longer a service. If they will do that, it will be a disservice to the warrant.
Meanwhile, the NBI also stated that contrary to reports, there is no tunnel, although there is an underground or basement in the kingdom that they also investigated and is still under construction. Although the service of the warrant of the NBI operation was peaceful, the members and missionaries of KOJC continue to monitor anyone who wants to disturb the peace and unity of the place they call home. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Jean Domingo, SM9 News.
The darkest chapter in Philippine history, martial law in 1972, is once again looming under the regime of Marcos Jr. And Davao City is said to be the starting point, according to former cadre of the CPP-NPA-NDF. Jade Calabroso reports.
Is martial law happening now? That's the common sentiment among the residents of Davao City, particularly the missionaries of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, who are experiencing harassment and oppression from the abusive government of Marcos Jr. The government is blatantly instilling fear and terror, openly violating the law. This began on June 10, 2024, when multiple battalions of PNP SAF forces simultaneously and violently attacked the religious compounds of the KOJC, allegedly to serve an arrest warrant for 6 accused individuals, including Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy. However, after failing to capture the accused, the police have not stopped harassing KOJC members. Missionaries report that police surveillance is constant, with 24/7 monitoring of their homes, checkpoints set up around the area, drones flying day and night, and other reported violence of their rights. At a KOJC press conference, the ongoing harassment by Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s regime, the son of the notorious dictator, was again highlighted. According to Jeffrey K. Eric Celis, a former intelligence officer of the CPP-NPA-NDF and now an anchor on SMNI, Marcos Jr. is targeting Davao City, the home of the Dutertes, to silently reintroduce martial law. He claims this is part of Marcos Jr.'s political persecution against the Dutertes and their allies.
Ang buong Davao City po ay naging isang buhay na laboratorio ng martial law version 2 ni Marcos Jr. Hindi niya idinideklara, hindi niya inaamin, subalit ito ang kanyang ginagawa. Ito, ang martial law laboratory ni Marcos sa Davao City ay isang political persecution, isang personal vendetta upang ang kanyang mga perceived political enemies at mga kaalyado ng kanyang perceived political enemies na tinitingnan niyang kasama doon sa mga grupo na malapit sa mga Duterte ay kanyang gustong lumpuin at igupo. Yan ang ginagawa niya ngayon kay Pastor Kibuloy.
Celis describes the actions of the Marcos regime as state-sponsored terrorism, which he claims is even worse than the symptoms seen during the martial law of his dictator father, Ferdinand Marcos Sr.
Never seen before since the time of the declaration of martial law in 1972. Nakakabahala po ito sapagkat maliban noong August 5, binalik nila ulit noong August 7 and 8, 2 araw magkasunod. Habang tayo nag-uusap, pinasok nila muli ang Tamayong District na ito. Ang Kalinan District, ang Tamayong at paligid nito at nagsagawa ng tinatawag na zoning and hamleting. Ano po ang zoning? Ang zoning po ay ang pagbabahay-bahay, illegal, na ginagawa sa panahon ng martial law kung ikaw ay naghahanap ng mga rebelde at terorista. Pero mga civilian population po ito, na mga magsasaka, magbubukid, manggagawang bukid at mga katutubo, at mga full-time religious workers ang nakatira dito. Hindi po mga bandido, tulisan o terorista. Sinusuna nila ang mga bahay at mga sityo. At walang search warrant o ano pa mang mandamiento mula sa korte, bit-bit nila mga matataas na kalibre ng armas. Ang hamleting ay ang pagkontrol ng movement ng mga tao upang sila ay sikilin sa kanilang paggalaw sa isang komunidad. Sapagkat naniniwala sila na nandito lang sa paligid si Pastor Kibuloy at ang kanyang mga ministro.
According to political commentator E.B. Hugalbot, what is happening in Davao City is also a way for the Marcos region to establish authoritarian rule in the country.
The only test case or litmus test of that authoritarian form of terrorism or display is to go to Davao itself. Because pag hindi pumalag yung mga Davaoenyo, they will be emboldened to do it somewhere else.
Meanwhile, in an interview, Vice President Sara Duterte also believes that politics is the reason for the intense harassment against Pastor Apollo.
Unang-una, alay siya ni former President Rodrigo Duterte. Tumulong din siya sa kampanya ko nung ako ay tumakbong Vice President. So merong anggulo dyan na politika. Tapos gusto siyang kunin ng US government.
Celis adds that Marcos is being used by the United States to take control of the Philippines for its interests.
Sapagkat si Marcos po ay nagiging instrumento ng panibagong paghahari ng Amerika sa ating bansa upang manumbalik ang neo-kolonyal o ang kanilang panibagong pangungolonya sa Pilipinas. At dahil dyan may mga bagahe si Marcos, perang ninakaw ng kanilang pamilya na nakatago at naka-frozen din sa Amerika, ang kanyang pangungunyapit sa poder na hindi siya mahuhulog habang sinusuportahan sa ng Amerika at hindi siya makukudita o ano pa mga banta sa kanyang kapangyarihan na nakasandig sa Amerika. Isasakripisyo si Pastor at ang mga Duterte para mawala ang political threats nila both ng Amerika at ng mga Marcos.
It is remembered that upon the entry of the Marcos regime, the Philippines' foreign policy suddenly shifted to a pro-American stance. During Marcos Jr.'s term, cases against Pastor Apollo that had already been dismissed by the country's courts were revived. Even the franchise of SMNI, known as former President Rodrigo Duterte's platform, is under threat of being revoked. This week, the Court of Appeals issued a freeze order on the properties of Pastor Apollo and other KOJC leaders, including the Children's Joy Foundation Incorporated and SMNI. However, KOJC insists that Pastor Apollo does not personally own any properties as they operate under a Commonwealth system and CJFI and SMNI are independent organizations. Meanwhile, KOJC previously announced that the Marcos region plans to seize their properties. For God, my beloved Philippines, this has been Jade Calabroso, SMNA News.
A former cadre and intelligence officer of the CPP-NPA is questioning why the AMLC remains silent on the blatant corruption by crooked politicians. Meanwhile, the KOJC believes that the Philippines can still prosper and improve if it's not led by corrupt government officials. Almar Fosuelo reports.
The Philippines is rich in natural resources, agriculture, marine life, vast and beautiful nature, rich culture, and much more. If you think about it, it's not impossible for the Philippines to be among the most admired countries in the world. But because of the rampant corruption by greedy and selfish politicians, many of our fellow citizens continue to suffer from severe hunger and poverty. A prime example of this is the flood control projects under Marcos Jr., funded with billions of pesos daily. But what's the result? Nearly all towns in Luzon are submerged in flood water after the onslaught of Typhoon Karina and the southwest monsoon. Now, many are asking, where is the taxpayers' money going? Instead of being allocated to projects that would create jobs or programs that would ease the lives of Filipinos, it ends up in the pockets of heartless politicians. At the 6th press conference of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ or KOJC in Davao City, one of the panel's key points was the severe corruption being committed by the Marcos administration following the Court of Appeals issuance of a 20-day freeze order on the bank accounts allegedly linked to Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy. It's worth noting that the Court of Appeals sided with the Anti-Money Laundering Council's or AMLAC petition due to the alleged illegal transactions by the pastor, even though he doesn't own a single bank account. According to Jeffrey K. Eric Celis, a former intelligence officer of the CPP, NPA, NDF, if the government is serious about going after those who steal public funds and engage in illegal activities, why doesn't it investigate and go after the lawmakers who are at the forefront of plundering the people's money?
Kung totoo ginahabol ng gobyerno ang mga money launderers, ang mga nagpopondo ng illegal at terorismo, ang may pinakamaraming pondo na dapat habulin ng gobyerno ay kasama mismo ng gobyerno sa loob ng Kongreso. For the last 21 years, mahigit 10 billion po ang pondo na nakuha ng Communist Party of the Philippines mula sa gobyerno sa pamamagitan ng party list na ACT Teachers, Gabriela, Kabataan Party, Bayan Muna, and Anak Pawis. Was there any investigation by AMLAC done against them? No, none.
He also shared that even when he was still with the leftist group, they were already aware of the dirty tactics politicians used to steal from the national treasury.
Oh, grabe. Ito, terrible ito. Due to unethical techniques, some projects are completed with subpar materials and workmanship, rendering them useless and prone to total failure.
Correct.
Oh, number 4. Nepotism and favoritism. Alam to ni Saldico. Oh, alam din ito ni Dong.
Delikado yan.
Why? Because ang pangongontrata mismo kung hindi sila, pamilya nila at mga kaibigan. Ito ang tatak, kung si Ma'am Lorraine pa kanina, ng Marcos. Cronyism, nepotismo at ang paggamit ng gobyerno bilang pribado nilang gatasan. Yan ang tinatawag namin sa CPP na burokrata kapitalismo. Bureaucrat capitalism.
Alam mo, kailangan dito.
For political vlogger and SMNA anchor Banat Bay, these politicians have become too brazen as they are even pushing to extend their terms to prolong their plundering of the nation's wealth.
At alam nyo, ang tindi, ang kapal ng mukha nito mga to, nag-file ng gusto nilang magkaroon ng 5-year term.
Oh, extension ng kanilang panunungkulan.
May pa-economic ano pa sila.
Pinsan ito ni Marcos.
Pinsan
ito.
Marcos.
Si Congressman Barba.
So, kalokohan yung sinasabi nila na economic reform ang gusto.
Yes.
Ito talagang gusto nila 5 taon pa. Kasi nga naman, pag 3 taon, kailangan nila magmadali, magnakaw para makapagtumakbo uli. No, nai-stress sila kung 3 years lang. At least kung 5 years, may time silang magnakaw para maka-re-elect uli sila.
Following this, due to the Marcos administration's continuous mistreatment of defenseless Filipinos, hundreds of retired generals have expressed their disappointment in the current administration's actions.
Exactly. Yun ang dahilan kung bakit as of the moment, while we're talking, Sir Jay, 138 signatories na mga retired generals. Pero babalikan ko yan ng briefly lang kasi may tanong si Banat Bay from the netizen na pwedeng mag-react kayo at ang mga co-panel ko. So naipakita natin na ang issue at ang sitwasyon na parang laboratorio ng martial law ang Davao City at ang nagaganap na pang-aabuso sa mga kabataan, sibilyan, kababaihan at mga katutubo dito sa Davao, sa Kingdom of Jesus Christ, ay issue ng competence ni Marcos na hindi na niya kayang mamuno, issue ng mamamayan yan.
Meanwhile, according to Sister Eleanor Cardona, Executive Secretary of KOJC, many are envious of KOJC because of the progress and achievements it has attained. Sister Cardona also emphasized that the beauty and organization of KOJC could be mirrored in the Philippines if it weren't led by corrupt politicians.
So, ulitin namin, itong naipunla at itong lahat na binigay ito lahat ng ating Panginoon Diyos. Ito ang magiging resulta kapag ang pamamahala matino, honest, walang corruption, zero corruption. Kaya ganito, pinagpala ang Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Kami, nagkakaisa kaming lahat. Walang corruption dito. Yung pera, Honesty yan. Blood, sweat, and tears. Talagang singhot talaga. Luha. Bawat isa. Sacrifice ng bawat isa yan. Hindi kami nahihirapan bagkos pag-ibig namin yan, pagkakaisa namin yan. Kaya yan din ang produkto ng isang leader na ang isipan ay talagang excellent at totoo. Ganun kaganda ang napoproduce. Kaya balikin ko man sabihin, nakakaawa talaga yung Pilipinas. Kung titingnan nyo, anong klaseng buhay ba meron kami sa kingdom? Kaya ganun na lang, no? Ang inggit nila, ganun na lang talaga na gusto nila i-gov't.
Finally, the KOJC Executive Secretary explained that it's not too late. She said that we can still achieve our dreams for the Philippines if our leaders is like Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy, who is not corrupt and genuinely loves the Filipino people and the nation.
We can also have this kind of life. Kung yung leader natin, kagaya ng kay Pastor. Kaya nga si Pastor gustong tumulong. Gusto niya kung anong nangyari dito sa kingdom, sa lahat ng compounds na nakita niyo kung gaano ka maayos, disiplinado, malinis, organized, at excellent, pati ang kultura ng mga tao. Yan yung dapat na magiging bunga, hindi lang ng kingdom nation, pero ang nation ng Pilipinas.
For God and my beloved Philippines, Almar Forsuelo, SMNI News.
Speculations about a possible impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte have resurfaced following her recent criticism of the administration. However, a political analyst warned that continuing to attack the Vice President could further weaken the Marcos Jr. administration. Here's the report from Angel Pastor.
Vice President Sara Duterte has recently criticized the Marcos administration for neglecting several pressing issues facing the country. Among these issues is the inadequate response to flooding problems, with the DPWH admitting that the Marcos Jr. government does not have a flood control master plan. She also pointed out the administration's subservience to foreign interests, especially regarding the International Criminal Court and the insufficient police-to-population ratio following the withdrawal of her police security details. Her criticism sparked strong reactions from several lawmakers, particularly on the issue of flood control projects. Manila Representative Joel Chua has also called for a review of the budget allocated for the Vice President's security, following reports that 400 soldiers have been assigned to her. Former presidential spokesperson Attorney Harry Roque noted that an impeachment complaint against VP Sara is not unlikely, and the House of Representatives is not ruling out the possibility, even though no formal complaint has been filed yet. However, political analyst Professor Froilan Calilong believes that pushing for impeachment would be challenging, despite it being a numbers game.
The way I see it, mukhang may hirapan isulong to, no? Dahil wala namang maliwanag or tahasang paglabag ang ating ikalawang Pangulo doon sa mga tinatawag natin na possible grounds for impeachment. No? So, it's going to be a hard sell, I think, on the part of the public. And you're right, the Vice President really had a clear mandate, and she has the legitimate mandate, no, for her position, and it will be really difficult for the government to actually make it or make a case for an impeachment against the Vice President if ever they are going to proceed with it.
Professor Calilong also warns that pressuring VP Sara could further weaken the Marcos administration's ability to recover from its current issues.
Kung titignan naman natin ang ating namang mga kababayan ngayon, mapagmasid. I think they are very much more discerning right now of the things that are happening. Of course, there is the presence of not just the mainstream media, but of course the social media, which I believe is very, very potent right now, and especially in shaping public opinion. So I think what the government should do right now is to carefully tread itong political line na to, no? Kasi medyo mahihirapan talaga sila rito kapag lalo na kapag masyado nilang ginipit yung ating ikalawang Pangulo.
Calilong further suggests that the attacks on VP Sara could be due to fears that she might expose issues within the current administration, having been part of it. His advice to the administration: focus on addressing the issues facing the Filipino people instead of targeting the Vice President. For God and My Beloved Philippines, Angel Pastor, SMNI News.
A bill is now being proposed in the Congress to implement mandatory drug tests for government officials, including the President of the country. MJ Mudahar reports.
Davao City 1st District Representative Paulo Duterte has filed House Bill number 10744 to implement a mandatory random drug test for all appointed and elected government officials nationwide. The proposal includes the President of the Philippines, as well as those applying for a driver's license, employees in both public and private sectors, particularly those in GOCCs. It is proposed that they undergo a hair follicle drug test with a urine drug test for confirmation. The bill also states that this should be done for all government officials every 6 months. According to Congressman Duterte, it is only right that government officials prove they are complying with the law by undergoing drug tests. Congressman Duterte also pointed out that this is what is stated in the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act and that government officials are not exempted. Former Press Secretary Trixie Cruz Angeles believes that the call for drug testing for President Bongbong Marcos Jr. is growing stronger, especially now that there is legislative action pushing him to undergo a hair follicle test.
Pero yung paggagamit in particular ng mga public officials, dahil kung sila po ay gumagamit, mayroon silang interest to protect that. Ngayon, alam natin at maliwanag na maliwanag sa ating batas na labag ito sa Dangerous Drugs Act, and so hindi dapat natin pinoprotektahan ang mga gumagamit.
Cruz Angeles stated that the Constitution clearly mandates transparency for government workers, making it important for them to respond to the call for drug testing.
Ang isang tao na kailangan magtrabaho, gumagawa ng desisyon sa araw-araw na nakakaapekto sa publiko, ay nangangailangan na nasa tamang kaisipan at nasa tamang kalusugan para makagawa nga ng mga desisyon na yon. At ang mga desisyon ay informed at base sa logic at saka sa available information.
Judging from netizens' comments, the majority of Filipinos are calling for President Marcos Jr. to undergo a credible drug test. This comes after videos emerged linking Marcos Jr. to illegal drug use, including testimony from witness Kathy Binag, who confirmed Marcos Jr.'s alleged involvement in illegal drug use.
Hindi natin hinihingi ang random drug testing just for the in order to catch a crime. Diba? Because merong aspeto din yan. But in order for us to determine kung yung kawani ng gobyerno ay maaari pang tumuloy sa kanilang posisyon, gawa nga ng posibilidad na naaapektuhan na ang kanilang utak o ang kanilang kalusugan.
For Government of Philippines, MJ Mondihap, SMNI News.
A political strategist expressed approval of the operation conducted by the NBI-11 at the KOJC religious compound, which has resulted in the orderly and peaceful service of a warrant of arrest in the contrast to the violent actions of the police on June 10. Omar Fusuelo reports.
The National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, Region 11, has proven that authorities can serve any warrant against the accused in an orderly and peaceful manner. It can be recalled that on August 9, NBI 11 once again served the warrant of arrest against Pastor Polo C. Kibuloy and other accused individuals at the KOJC compound in Davao City. This was not the first time that NBI 11 went to the religious compound, but none of the sought individuals were found, proving that the KOJC members were telling the truth when they said they have long had no communication with Pastor. Additionally, NBI 11 demonstrated that conducting a search operation within the said religious compound does not need to take a month, contrary to the wishes of Nick Torre of PRO 11. Due to the peaceful and orderly conduct of NBI 11, a professor and political strategist couldn't hide her joy, as in this era of martial law, there are still good law enforcers. In an interview with SMNI News, Professor Maluti Kia stated that because of NBI 11's actions, they can serve as model, especially in serving warrants of arrest.
Natutuwa ako na meron tayong isang NBI na sumusunod sa batas. Kasi ito, magiging modelo ito eh. Paano ba tayo mag-execute ng ating warrant of arrest? Ako'y nagagalak na merong ganito. Hindi ko alam kung inaayos na nila ang tungkulin nila.
Based on the revised Rules of Criminal Procedure, Rule 113, Section 2, it is stated that violence or force is not necessary to carry out an arrest. For Professor Malutikia, the PNP has already violated many laws with their continued harassment of KOJC.
Maling-mali ang PNP. Alam mo, ang daming operational errors na nangyari dyan sa KOJC, from the attack to the raid to the illegal search at saka yung pagbaman nila ng checkpoints, no? Biro mo nakatakip ka, wala kang pangalan. Hindi ho tayo nasa estado ng martial law, hindi ho tayo police state, tayo ay civilian. So again, ilinalagay natin yan sa hapag ng namumuno sa pamahalaan na ito dahil maling-mali po yung ginagawa nyo.
Tikia also cannot comprehend why the PNP is focusing their attention on Davao City when there are much larger problems that the police should be addressing.
Secondly, why select Davao City? I mean, I don't understand that. There are so many problem areas. If you're going to follow si Marbil, ang sinabi niya, yung police to population ratio, ay tingnan ho natin sa Metro Manila, marami ho tayong problema dito. Yun na lang nawawalang mga bata. Hindi ba yung problema? Yung pagtaas ng illegal drugs, hindi ho ba yan problema?
Overall, Tikia said that the Marcos administration is now using the PNP as private army and that the current administration has done nothing but violate the rights of Filipinos.
There's total disregard of rights. This is an administration where they treat the PNP as their private army.
For God and my beloved Philippines, Almar Forzuelo, SMNA News.
Kasamahan Industriya ng Agrikultura, SINAG, has revealed that African swine fever or ASF vaccines arrived in the country as early as 2023 and were found to have already expired. The group is now worried that these could be used in the upcoming vaccination effort by the Department of Agriculture in areas affected by the virus. However, the DA has issued a clarification regarding this matter. Sheena Turno will tell us more.
Tahimik na. Ramdam na nila ang kanilang sakit. Wala na halos gumagalaw. Konting-konti na lang. Mamaya hahakutin na kayong lahat. Ididipap na kayo.
This is the condition of pigs when they are hit by a deadly disease like African swine fever or ASF. Some of the symptoms of ASF include the loss of appetite in pigs and bleeding, which can be seen through red skin, particularly on the ears and other areas. In the province of Batangas, hundreds of pigs were buried after being infected with ASF. Due to this, the entire province of Batangas has declared a state of calamity because of the impact of ASF on the province. This follows the reported cases of the virus in 8 areas in the province of Batangas. However, the Department of Agriculture previously stated that 600,000 doses of vaccines are planned to procure to help prevent the spread of ASF in the country. The agency plans to purchase 10,000 doses of the vaccine through emergency procurement, which will first be distributed in Batangas. However, SINAG discovered that 150,000 doses of the vaccine had already been in the country since last year. These were imported by a Vietnamese company in anticipation of approval from the Food and Drug Administration or FDA. The company was unsuccessful, resulting in the vaccine not being used and eventually expiring in March 2024. The group is now concerned that these expired vaccines might be used by the government in their controlled vaccination efforts, especially since the expiration date has allegedly been extended until December.
Sinabi kaagad natin, ino-object natin yung paggamit kasi bibilin ng government yan. Ibig sabihin, kung yung naturukan is may tinamaan na ASF, tapos yung strain na tuturukan na vaccine galing Vietnam na, baka magkaroon ng mutation.
SINAG also urged the FDA to release results on the expired vaccines to determine if they should be destroyed, similar to what was done with expired vaccines during the pandemic.
Dapat yung darating na vaccine, 1 year dapat yung expiration. Yun ang nakikita natin. And dapat ang FDA magkaroon ng resulta sa naiwan na vaccine kung anong dapat gawin para at least hindi magkaroon ng problema kasi hindi pa natin alam kung anong mangyayari, no? Kung i-dispose yung vaccine na naiwan dito sa ating bansa.
The Department of Agriculture has clarified this issue.
The government will not buy expired vaccine. Magpapadala uli ng bago. Definitely, ang bakuna ay magiging good for 2 years pag dumating. Wala pang binibili yung gobyerno. Wala pang kahit ano na nasa possession ng government now.
According to the DA, there's no need to worry if an area is under a state of calamity due to ASF. They say this would help control the smuggling of infected pigs and strengthen border control.
Kasi normally, yan ang pinaka-reason bakit mabilis kumalat yung ASF. Kung affected na yung baboy, siyempre mas gusto nila benta pa ulit. Lalo na kung nagsisimula pa lang. Yun ang nagiging reason para makumalat. So,
to address this issue, the agency will compensate farmers for pigs that have been culled due to ASF to prevent them from incurring losses. Small-sized pigs will receive 4,000 pesos each, medium-size 8,000 pesos, and large-size 12,000 pesos. The Department of Agriculture has also mentioned that the agency has not yet finalized the costs of the vaccines per dose that will be used for pigs against ASF. As of now, over 250 barangays across the country still have active ASF cases. For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
Up next, recordings of witnesses' calls captured the terrifying moment of the São Paulo airplane crash. And a massive wildfire with flames reaching 18 feet height rages out of control in Athens, marking Greece's worst wildfire yet. Newsline World will be back after the break.
Sabi nga nila, di ba? You will know them by their love. Yun ang sinabi sa Biblia. It's not on how good you are in quoting the scripture. It's giving love.
Grabe, hindi talaga hindi talaga kasya yung words eh. Kung paano natin i-express yung ating na-experience.
Mismo wala akong masabi. Kita ko kasi yung pagiging generous. Alam mo, madali kasi magsalita ng Diyos eh. Pero pagdating sa pera, pagdating sa pagiging generous, yung pagtulong sa iba, hindi biro yun. Maraming bagsak dyan. Maraming bagsak. Kaya ako nakikita ko yung pagiging generous niya. Hindi sa salita eh. Sa lakad. Bilib ako. Hindi dakda. Nakita mo sa gawa. In one word, authentic.
Abangan ng Banateros tuwing Lunes hanggang Huwebes, live dito lang sa SMNI.
Yan ang Banateros, walang inuurungan. Pag tama palakpakan, pag mali ay babanatan. Yan ang Banateros.
Children will grow up and bring the joy, the love, the peace, and compassion to the whole world. only have one planet. We only have one Earth. And I hope that this new generation of children that we have reached out will become millions and billions and bring peace on Earth. Bring peace to humanity.
South Korea's security is under threat as North Korean hackers reportedly stole sensitive data on the K2 battle tank and Baekdu and Jumgang spy planes. The ruling People Power Party is urging immediate measures to enhance national security. Ken Sung reports.
The People Power Party, or PPP, has raised alarms over North Korean hackers accessing critical technical data on South Korea's K2 tanks and Baekdu and Jumgang spy planes. The stolen information could enable North Korea to evade South Korean surveillance and potentially gain a tactical advantage. Recent reports indicate that engineers who previously worked on the K2 tank transferred to a rival company, taking with them design blueprints and development reports. This data, including details on the tank's overpressure system, was intended for export to a Middle Eastern country. Additionally, a South Korean defense contractor's operational and maintenance manuals for the Baekdu and Jumgang aircraft were compromised in the cyber attack. The PPP is calling for urgent reforms to address security vulnerabilities and prevent further breaches. As North Korea's cyber attacks grow more frequent and aggressive, the party stresses that enacting the Basic Cybersecurity Act is essential to safeguard against hacking and technology theft. Reporting for South Korea, this is Kim Sung, your global citizen correspondent for God in our beloved country, the Philippines.
Meanwhile, as tensions in the Middle East are reaching a critical point, the United States and its allies brace for a possible Iranian attack on Israel. Diplomatic efforts are intensifying, but the threat of regional conflict looms large. Here's the latest on this developing situation. Melchizedek Cadiz reports.
Amid these rising tensions, leaders from 5 Western nations, the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and Italy have issued a joint statement urging restraint. The leaders warned Iran and its allies against launching anticipated retaliatory attacks on Israel following the recent assassinations of senior Hamas and Hezbollah figures which have been attributed to Israel. In their statement, the Western powers expressed strong support for ongoing efforts to de-escalate the conflict and secure a ceasefire in Gaza. We called on Iran to stand down its ongoing threats of a military attack against Israel and discussed the serious consequences for regional security should such an attack take place. The statement read, "The international community is closely watching developments, particularly following the assassination of Hamas political chief Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran and Hezbollah commander Fouad Shukar in Beirut last month. These incidents have fueled fears of a broader regional conflict, though Iran and Hezbollah have maintained they are not seeking an all-out war but remain ready should it occur. Meanwhile, Western nations are supporting renewed efforts led by the US, Qatar, and Egypt to secure a truce in Gaza and bring an end to the 10-month-long war. At the same time, the US, France, Germany, and Italy are still supplying weapons to Israel. On Sunday, the US deployed a guided missile submarine and expedited the USS Abraham Lincoln Aircraft Carrier Strike Group to the Middle East. Reporting from Kuwait, I am Melchizedek Cadiz, your global citizen correspondent for God and for our beloved country, the Philippines.
Thai authorities are urgently working to prevent around 100 shipping containers of suspected hazardous waste from Albania from reaching their ports. Basel Action Network has raised the alarm about the shipment, which could pose serious environmental and health risks. Chatmogon Pisamegozon reports.
The Basel Action Network, a US-based nonprofit, has alerted Thailand that the containers believed to contain toxic electric arc furnace dust are en route. Complicating matters, one of the ships carrying these containers has disappeared from tracking services as it near Cape Town. Thai officials are collaborating with Albania and Singapore to intercept the shipment, which is scheduled to arrive at Thailand's Lam Chabang port on August 20. The Department of Industrial Works in Thailand confirmed that they did not authorize or approve these shipments and are actively working to stop them. The containers are aboard Maersk Kempton and Kander vessels. Maersk stated that while its ships are carrying these containers, they were not declared as hazardous waste. Basel Action Network has called on Singapore and Thailand to act swiftly and for Albania to reclaim the containers to prevent them from reaching their final destination. Reporting from Thailand, I'm Shatmongkon Bisamakoson, your Global Citizens correspondent for SMA News Channel.
The United States is bolstering its military presence in the Middle East as tensions between Iran and Israel intensify. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has directed a guided missile submarine and an aircraft carrier strike group to the region in response to escalating threats from Iran and Hezbollah. Federico Veloso has the reports.
1 year after the catastrophic wildfires that claimed over 100 lives, many families on Maui are still reliant on donations for essential needs like food and medicine. The wildfire, which began on August 8 last year, destroyed more than 2,000 buildings and caused damages estimated at around 5.5 million. Due to ongoing needs, a small park was transformed into a community donation hub exactly 1 year ago, following the devastation of Lahaina by the fires.
Within 2 hours, people were driving by. We had boats coming in and delivering supplies here. So we've been here since day one of the fire, providing household necessities, medical help, hot foods.
As donations from the community continued to pour in, their operations expanded daily, eventually leading them to rent a refrigerated truck for perishable items like fresh bread, milk, and eggs. They have been providing fresh meals to displaced families who are staying in temporary housing nearby.
All these surrounding hotels have fire victims in them, all of these right here. So I'd say you have about 2,500 people in this area that need help on a daily basis. So we try to provide as much as we can.
The families remain heavily dependent on community donations. One of the organizers, Chris Espiritu, had to rent out his equipment to accommodate the growing influx of donations, and expenses are mounting as the tents set up a year ago are now deteriorating. Many families report that they haven't received the promised support from aid organizations and national agencies, making these community efforts their primary source of assistance. Last Friday, the Hawaii government announced a $4 billion settlement in a lawsuit related to the Delhi fires. As of now, the exact cause of the fires is still under investigation. This has been Federico Veloso, your Global Citizen correspondent for SMNI News.
China, 2 years from now, will deliver its second large cruise ship, which features a large public space and more advanced facilities compared to the first one. Anisa de Guzman reports.
China's second domestically manufactured large cruise ship has entered an accelerated construction phase, with delivery expected by 2026. According to China State Shipbuilding Corporation Limited, the second ship, which is based in Guangzhou, is scheduled to start international voyages in 2027. China's first homegrown cruise ship, the Adora Magic City, sailed on January 1 this year. Meanwhile, the second ship will feature larger public spaces and more advanced amusement facilities. Its public area will increase by 735 square meters, and the outdoor activity space will expand by 1,913 square meters. Yang Guobing, chairman of Adora Cruises with CSSC Cruise Technology Development Corporation Limited, stated that after the second large cruise ship is established in Guangzhou, they plan to enhance their products to highlight the culture of the Lingnan area and the distinctiveness of Guangzhou. The ship will have more spacious accommodations and improved facilities, with routes primarily targeting Southeast Asia. Yang also said that by 2035, the number of cruise passengers in countries and regions along the maritime Silk Road could exceed 14 million, driving a 1 trillion yuan or about $139 billion in investment that includes the construction of 100 new cruise ships. Reporting from Thailand, I'm Anissa de Guzman, your global citizen correspondent for God and our beloved country, the Philippines.
SM&I will be back after the break.
Ang buot sa Diyos, kitang mga katawhan, tunay espiritong mupadayon o muantos. Kay dakitan sa Diyos sa unahan, basta mahimo ka ng anak sa Ginoo sa gingharian, daghan ang mga pagsulay. Kung way pagantos, di ka makalahutay. Kung walay pagkamakanunayon, dili gyapon ka makalahutay. Ang tuyo sa Diyos, nga ang matagos ang gitawag, makalahutay. Makalahutay lamang sa mga pagsulay, kundili sa pagtubo nga makaabot siya sa ikaupat nga laka nga dito na manukat ang iyang reward. In the spiritual, you don't have to have a doll in order to become a witch. When you psychologically hurt someone, you are a witch. You know how witches hurt spiritually? A cold shoulder, mental abuse, physical abuse is witchcraft. Soul winners are not like that. Soul winners are winning souls through love, peace and joy, meekness, gentleness, goodness, kindness. Whether you are on the first, second, or third level of spiritual growth, we are all participating in the same body. We have a care for everyone in the body. Whether you are part of the feet, which is the lowest of all, whether you are in the hand, or whether what part you are, one to another, there is participation of love. That's why Jesus Christ said, love one another, that the world may know you are my disciples. Anything that tries your faith and puts you on the spot of deciding whether to continue or to stop is a fire. Whether it is persecution, whether it is loved ones, family, anything that will try your faith, whether to continue or to stop or to overcome or draw back, it is called fire. Now, salvation is based upon our building up on the foundation. Whether silver, gold, stubble, precious stones. That means if it is gold, then it's genuine. It can go through the fire, but it will stay. When your confession of commitment and dedication is not true, when the fire goes through you, you will be burned. That's why I love my ministry. Because all of those that are able to overcome are certified 100% pure gold. Pure gold. Hypocrites have no place in the kingdom nation. Pretenders have no place in the kingdom nation. Plastics don't have place in the kingdom nation. Why? Because before we can be ushered into the new world, we should be tried by fire.
Pastor na si Apollo Kibuloy. Apollo Kibuloy. Pastor Apollo Kibuloy.
Kibuloy is a threat to peace and order in the country.
Father, you have ordained leaders for the development, prosperity of our country, no matter what. The scriptures are very clear. And the scriptures tells us to put them up in supplications and prayers, that they may do the right thing, that they may guide our nation towards peace and development and prosperity.
Before I become extinct, I'd like to say to you, talagang you are the son of God.
Kung akong tatanungin, kahit saang aspeto, gusto ko garantisado. Metikuloso akong tao, kaya gusto ko lahat maayos at sigurado. Lahat quality, yung hindi ako makakompromiso, pero sulit ang presyo. Ganyan ang clean fuel, kaya dito, panatag ang loob ko.
Magandang umaga po, sir. Full tank po.
Full tank. Gusto mo ng dekalidad na gasolina pero sulit ang halaga, mag-clean fuel ka.
Recordings of calls made by witnesses of the airplane crash in São Paulo, Brazil, captured the terrifying moment experienced by those who saw the aircraft fall. More details with Federico Veloso.
In the aftermath of the crash, audio recordings have surfaced revealing the panic and fear of those who saw the plane plummet into a house in the province of São Paulo. One of the callers to the civil guard, his voice trembling, reported the incident saying, "Sir, an airplane just crashed near my house. I can only see black smoke passing over the top of my house." According to local news, the phone lines were congested due to the sheer number of calls made at the time of the crash. The airplane was carrying 62 passengers. Among the victims was 3-year-old Liz Liba dos Santos, who sent an audio message to her mother just before the flight took off. The heartbreaking message later released by local news has struck a chord with many. Liz was traveling with her father, Rafael, who was 41 years old. They were en route to Florianopolis, stopping in São Paulo to catch a connecting flight. The trip was meant to celebrate Father's Day, which has just passed this Sunday in Brazil. With heavy hearts, the people of Brazil mourn and pay tribute to the victims of what is now considered the worst airplane accident in the country since 2007. In a statement, the airline company VP reported that the plane which crashed in Vinhedo was carrying 57 passengers and 4 crew members, all of whom died in the tragedy. The Brazilian Regional Airlines aircraft was en route from Cascavel in Paraná to Guarulhos International Airport in São Paulo. The plane crashed into houses in Capela de Vinhedo neighborhood. This has been Frederico Veloso, your global citizen correspondent for SMNI News.
Elon Musk's interview with former U.S. President and now presidential candidate Donald Trump has reached 1 billion views, according to Musk. However, the interview was delayed by almost an hour due to a massive cyber attack. Sara Santos for the detail.
Exactly 1 month has passed since there was an assassination attempt on former United States President Donald Trump during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on the 13th of July. In Elon Musk's 2-hour interview with Trump, the former president talked about his frightening experience. He said it's a miracle that he's still alive.
I knew immediately that it was a bullet. I knew immediately that it was at the ear.
Yeah.
And because it hit very hard, but hit the ear. I moved down pretty nicely, pretty quickly. And we had bullets flying right over my head after I went down. So I'm glad I went down. The bigger miracle was that I was looking in the exact direction of the shooter. And so it hit me at an angle that was far less destructive than any other angle. So that was the miracle. It was a miracle. If I hadn't turned my head, I would not be talking to you right now. It's very much, I say, an act of God. It's a miracle that it happened, and I'm honored by it. I'm honored by it.
Trump said that at that time, he prioritized letting his supporters in the said rally know that he is still alive.
And I wanted to let them know I was okay. It was very important for me to let them know that. And they went wild. You've seen the after. They didn't go wild when I got up because they didn't know, was I alive? You really couldn't tell. When I stood up before the hand, before the fist in the air, they didn't know if I was alive. Nobody did. And when I put the fist up, they were just relieved and happy and thrilled, and the place went crazy. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It was.
Meanwhile, Trump thanks the U.S. Secret Service sniper who neutralized the shooter that attempted to assassinate him, because if he hadn't done so, more people could have been hurt.
I have to give the Secret Service sniper, they call him, or sharpshooter, but sniper, because he didn't know there was a problem. He's an extraordinary shot, obviously, and he didn't know there was a problem. And he was able to pick it all out within 5 seconds. And he used one bullet from very far away. I immediately recognized it and immediately took a shot. And it was one perfect shot from very far away. And if he didn't do that, Elon, a lot more people could have been badly hurt and killed. So I have to take my hat off to him.
Despite this, Trump shared that he will be returning to Butler in October, the place where the attempted assassination against him took place. This as the U.S. presidential election is scheduled for November.
We're all set up, and the people are fantastic in Butler. It's a great area. These are incredible people.
Earlier on this month of August, Vice President Kamala Harris was chosen as the Democratic Party's presidential nominee after President Joe Biden backed out of the presidential race. In the said interview, Trump stressed that Biden and Harris are incapable of running the U.S. government.
We have a defective government. These are defective people, and they're not people that should be running it. She's incompetent, and he's incompetent. And frankly, I think that she's more incompetent than he is. And that's saying something, because he's not too good.
The said interview was scheduled to be broadcasted live on X 8 o'clock in the evening Eastern Daylight Time on Monday, but was interrupted due to a massive cyber attack. Within an hour, X was able to fix the problem, and only then Musk began interviewing Trump. Reporting, this has been Sara Santos, SMNI News.
A former member of the notorious Japanese germ warfare unit 731 has returned to China for the first time in 79 years to confront the atrocities he witnessed during the World War II. Gaisato has more details.
Hideo Shimizu, now 94, traveled to Harbin in northeastern China to revisit the site of Unit 731's headquarters. During his visit, Shimizu toured key locations including the office of the unit commander, the specimen room, and the frostbite laboratory. He recounted his disturbing experiences, describing the gruesome conditions he witnessed, such as dissected human organs preserved in formalin and the grim task of collecting bones from experimental subjects.
こういったその時に上官がこれはマルタを解剖したもんだとそういう説明がありましたからね。あまりにも無残なものだったから私も声も出せないくらい驚きました。印象に残ったのはね、女の方の中にいる子供なんかもお腹に入ったまんま標本になってましたから、そういったこともね、なぜこんなね妊婦の標本までこんなことしなきゃいけないのかなと思った。どうしてこんなね小さな子供たち、またお腹の中にいた子供たちなんかをね、解剖してしまうのか不思議に思いました。
Shimizu, who was among the last members of Unit 731 sent to Harbin, fled the Japanese forces in August 1945. Since revealing his past in 2016, he has dedicated himself to exposing Unit 731's brutal experiments. His return is a plea for Japanese authorities to acknowledge and address these historical atrocities and to prevent future conflicts.
中国の方たち、またモンゴルの人たち、ロシアの人たち、ね、朝鮮の人たちに謝ってくれるという気がないんじゃないですか。私がそれ言うと、中国の方たちよりね、日本の政府に責められます。
Unit 731 was a covert biological and chemical warfare unit of the Imperial Japanese Army responsible for inhumane experiments during World War II. Shimizu said it is estimated to have caused the deaths of 200,000 to 300,000 people through horrific experiments, including disease injections, vivisections, and other brutal tests on dehumanized individuals, including pregnant women and children. Reporting from Tokyo, Japan, this has been Guy Saito for God and my beloved country, the Philippines.
A massive wildfire is threatening the northeastern suburbs of Athens and the wider Attica region as residents remain on high alert. The blaze, which has already scored 100,000 acres, is inching closer to the great capital. Jade Calabroso has the news.
Hundreds of firefighters backed by over 30 water-dropping planes are battling the out-of-control wildfire on the northern outskirts of Athens. The fire, which started on Sunday afternoon, is being fueled by strong winds and is tearing through pine forest, left tinder dry by repeated heat waves and an exceptionally dry winter. Smoke from the blaze has spread as far as 300 kilometers south of Attica, according to Greek scientists using satellite data. In response to the advancing flames, Greek authorities ordered the evacuation of more than 30,000 residents in the historic town of Marathon on Sunday. Marathon, known as the birthplace of the iconic marathon race, lies in the northeastern Attica region, now under severe threat from the fast-moving wildfire. Residents were directed to move towards the nearby beach town of Nea Makri, following the evacuation of 6 settlements in the area. Meanwhile, several European nations, including Italy, France, Romania, the Czech Republic, Turkey, and Serbia, have responded to Greece's call for help, deploying personnel, fire engines, water-dropping aircraft, and helicopters to assist in the fight. With the prolonged drought and record-breaking temperatures, Greece is bracing for what could be its hottest summer yet. Authorities continue to urge residents to affected areas to stay vigilant as the firefighting efforts continue. Reporting, this has been Jade Calabroso, SMNA News.
On Tuesday night, the Filipino athletes who competed in the Paris 2024 Olympics arrived back in the country. They landed at the Villemor Air Base on a charter flight. Carlo de la Peña has the details.
17 of the 22 Filipino Olympians who participated in Paris 2024 were given a red carpet welcome upon their arrival on Monday evening. The returning athletes include two-time Paris 2024 Olympic gold medalist Carlos Yulo, bronze medalists Nesty Petesio and Ira Villegas, and Philippine Olympic Committee President Abraham Bambol Tolentino. Each athlete was greeted by up to 4 family members. Malacanang requested a private welcome for the families, which was held at the Maharlika hangar. After freshening up, the athletes will head to Malacanang Palace to be received by President Marcos Jr. They will then proceed to the ceremonial hall for an awarding ceremony and dinner reception. On Wednesday, a homecoming parade will be held for the athletes, starting at 3 p.m. The athletes will be transported to their accommodations to Aliw Theater, where a motorcade will begin. The parade will cover 7.7 kilometers. The MMDA has announced the Heroes Grand Homecoming Parade for gymnastics gold medalist Carlos Yulo, bronze medalists Petesio and Villegas, and all Filipino Olympians. The parade will begin at Aliw Theater, turn left onto Rojas Boulevard, then right onto P. Burgos Avenue, and continue straight to Finance Road. From there, it will turn right onto Taft Avenue, then right again into President Quirino Avenue. The route will then turn left onto Adriatico Street, right onto Mendiola Street, and end with a left turn into Rizal Memorial Sports Complex. At the complex, Manila City Mayor Hani Lacuna will present awards to Carlos Yulo and EJ Abiana. The MMDA will implement a stop-and-go scheme at parade intersections, so motorists are advised to use alternative routes to avoid heavy traffic. For northbound traffic heading to R10, the recommended alternatives are the Skyway, Buendia Avenue, Taft Avenue, FB Harrison Street, A. Mabini Street, President Quirino Avenue, and Lacson Avenue. For southbound traffic, consider using Rojas Boulevard, UN Avenue, San Marcelino, or Quirino Avenue to SLEX. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
Celebrations and mixed results marked Brazil's conclusion of the Paris 2024 Olympics, with the national securing a total of 20 medals, 3 gold, 7 silver, and 10 bronze. Andre de Souza has the details.
While Brazil's total medal count remains impressive, the number of gold fell short compared to previous Olympics. In Tokyo and Rio de Janeiro, Brazil won 7 gold medals each, setting a new record. The previous record was 5 gold medals from Athens 2004, and Brazil had previously won a maximum of 3 golds in earlier edition. Over its 24 Olympics participation, Brazil missed out on gold in 10 editions, including Paris 1924, Los Angeles 1932, and Sydney 2000. Paris 2024 was a milestone for Brazil, featuring more female athletes who won more medals than their male counterparts. Brazil secured gold in artistic gymnastics, judo and beach volleyball, silver in women's football, women's surfing, men's race walking, artistic gymnastics, men's judo, and men's canoeing, and bronze in women's volleyball, men's 400-meter hurdles, men's skateboarding, men's surfing, artistic gymnastics, women's skateboarding, women's judo, women's boxing, and men's taekwondo, and bronze medals from women's volleyball, men's 400 meters hurdles, men's skateboarding park, men's surfing, artistic gymnastics, women's skateboarding, women's judo, women's boxing, and men's taekwondo. Despite falling short of gold medal target, reshapes the nation's Olympic legacy, paving the way for new challenges and aspiration in future games. I'm Andre de Souza, your global citizen correspondent for SMNI News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the sun. Humility and sincerity are what counts in the character of a man. And that's all for this edition. For more updates, you may visit smninewschannel.com or follow us on our official media accounts on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. For God and Country, I'm Deivid Lira, and this is Newsline World.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
Subscribe to SMNI News Channel and turn on the notification bell to keep you up to date. Also visit our official social media accounts and join our community on Viber and Telegram.